We've been talking all week to people here in West Michigan about where they were on 9/11 during the attacks. And it seems like everyone remembers exactly where they were and who they were with. For one father from Zeeland, he happened to be inside the Twin Towers. Unlike the thousands who died that day, he was able to escape. Tonight, 10 years later, he shares his story of survival, so people don't forget.
One thing that I'm always asked is, do I think about September 11 since then? And I do, every day.
Chad Creevy still has his old photo ID from the World Trade Center. Then 22, fresh out of college and starting an ambitious career in finance with a training opportunity in New York.
I was supposed to be there for 2.5 weeks with Morgan Stanley. First job right out of college, and it was a great experience for me.
Second day on the job, far away from home. Creevy was on the 61st floor of the South Tower when our country was attacked.
Bright blue sky, no clouds, and then debris started floating by our window. 61 stories up, it just didn't feel right. And then the smell of jet fuel started to enter our floor, and then it really didn't feel right, and you had to get out. There was an informal announcement among our training personnel saying that there had been an accident. It was just who could get out the fastest, get towards the stairwell.
Creevy and his classmates made it to the 44th floor, jammed with people. He says they were waiting for an elevator when the second plane hit.
And the building completely rocked, and it felt like, enough to where people actually fell down and started to lose their balance. There were no windows. You couldn't see out. You didn't know what was happening. And then when we got hit, the lights went out.
Thick smoke started to pour in.
It seemed like a movie. It seemed like I shouldn't be there. I was too high up. The smells were not normal.
Burnt hair and flesh mixed with jet fuel. Chaos and panic followed.
People around me were swearing and cussing and pushing. It was the full gamut of emotion. In an instant, I was so shaken within just a couple seconds. Just so shaken I didn't know what to do except to pray.
He prayed to God for safety and then went into survival mode.
It took about, I want to say 20 minutes, a half hour just to go down 44 flights of stairs. It was slow going.
But Creevy made it out alive and ran, trying to not look back at the horror of people falling to their deaths. He eventually took shelter at a furniture store, later finding out the towers had fallen. Back in West Michigan, the young father returned home and shared his story of survival. A decade has gone by. His family and his financial career have both grown. But he's different. What's the most common question you get?
How has September 11 changed my life?
And how has it?
I think the biggest thing is a strengthened faith.
Every anniversary, Creevy devotes countless hours to speaking to groups and children about what happened that day, reminding us what he can never forget.
By me speaking and telling my story, I think I get a lot of ohs, and oh yeah, I remember feeling that way, and oh yeah, I didn't think of things that way, just from my perspective. Telling it over and over for me has become somewhat routine, but it's also needed because we're quick to forget how we felt that day.